Hello everyone and welcome to Retro Reactions, a place where I experience amazing music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s for the very first time. And today we're going to be time traveling all the way back to 1983 to listen to Home by the Sea and Second Home by the Sea by the amazing Genesis. I grew up in this era of Genesis, hearing all the big radio hits when they were new, and so I'm excited to check out more of this decade of Genesis and see what they have to offer. They seem to have several albums, so I'm excited to get into this side of them, explore more, as I also explore their 70s prog era. I know I'm going to love it all, so here we go. Home by the Sea and Second Home by the Sea. Great keyboard work, as expected. Nice. Wow, Tony. I knew you would deliver. That last section was completely sublime. Amazing keyboard work there, and it's probably going to be my favorite part of the song. I'm pretty certain already. I can just tell. The music kind of just, broke down a little bit, and the keyboards just kind of surrounded my head, and as always, took me somewhere, and I really appreciated that. Genesis, among others, have this special magic that, you're listening to their song, and then they make a change up. And like this section here, it just grabs your attention and kind of takes you somewhere else, puts you in a different mood right away. And I've experienced that a lot on this channel with them and other bands, and absolutely love that. And then when those change-ups are done with keyboard sounds, what could be better than that, since that's my favorite instrument in these bands. Anyway, just the keyboard work throughout has been great, more subtle in the beginning parts like the verses, but I noticed this real slight, almost like a bell pad keyboard sound, moving around, sprinkled through the song, guiding it along, and love that part as well. Again, Tony, genius, absolute genius. Everyone else is doing great. Of course, Phil, we don't need to say anything. He's an amazing, amazing vocalist. His vocals were very strong here, soaring, emotional. When he goes high, you really feel it. So this is exactly what I expect to hear from 80s Genesis, which I know and absolutely love and have loved since I was a child. So I'm really interested on the second half of the song to see how it's going to go, what direction it's going to go in, and also the song that follows. It's got the same title, basically, Second Home by the Sea. So I want to see how different or similar it is to this one and how they're related. So let's go. I like the I like his runs. Ooh. Again. It's like prog modernized. Ooh, that's so cool. So many good sounds here. Okay. Seamless transition, really cool. And this one's actually longer. Wow. Mike? Probably. All three guys are shining here big time. Sounds a lot different than the first one. So good, and only 1/3 done. Didn't want to pause it. It's an amazing piece of music there. It just keeps getting better and better. I guess it's mostly going to be instrumental, but I think there are some words at the end. So just amazing, amazing. Like I said, everyone is shining. All three of them are shining, giving 1,000% in this section, big time. And I hear it all close up in the mix, and I appreciate everything that's going on. It's just such a deep, powerful, rich, booming sound. Just kind of captures your ears, your attention, and again, much different than the first Home by the Sea, but this part live would be amazing. All of it would be amazing, but especially this part. So I can't quite figure out what word to use, so I'll just say there's a waterfall of amazing sounds and melodies going on in this song. I mean, if you think about it, the same concept applies to their old prog stuff, you know, a waterfall, a just deluge of great sounds, but presented in a much different way. This is more updated, has that 80s feel, but yet timeless, powerful, and strong at the same time. And I'm just loving this song. I love the first one again, but this one just is like heightened to a whole nother level due to the amazing sounds, instrumentation, arrangements. No vocals needed, but I think we do have some coming up, so let's finish off the song and appreciate this glorious instrumentation going on here. All right, they tied it together here. I hear those subtle drums. Wow, really cool sound right there. And I think I heard that last high note. Was that supposed to be a ghost? I think it was a guitar, and definitely had a ghost feel to it. And apparently that's what this song is allegedly about. We'll talk about that more later, but incredible. 70s Genesis perfection. 80s Genesis perfection. Not surprised, as I always say. It's Genesis after all. By the way, that had to be Mike on guitar, right? This is the first time I've heard Mike on lead guitar. I think it is. And he sounded incredible. And of course he's incredible. He's in Genesis. But I think, in the earlier days, he did mostly bass, if I'm not mistaken, since they had Steve and maybe some other guitarists fill in. But if this was Mike, which I'm assuming it is, absolutely incredible, especially towards the end there. But all throughout this song especially, and the previous song that I listened to. So this is why I love 80s Genesis so much. It's almost like Phil Collins' solo career had a baby with 70s progressive rock Genesis. And this is the result. Absolutely awesome 80s Genesis. This is why I love this kind of stuff so much, and always have, because, it has just great 80s sounds and an 80s feel to it. And as I'll always say, the 80s was my favorite decade of music ever, and it always will be. And so I've always gravitated toward this from the beginning, since I was, a kid, and got to experience all these great songs, not only from them, but from countless artists as they were new, the Michael Jacksons, the Madonna, the George Michael, the Prince, Cyndi Lauper, Whitney Houston, Depeche Mode. I mean, the list goes on and on. We could go all day talking about my love for 80s music, but I have a great love for 80s Genesis. Anyway, remember the radio hits when they were new, and that's kind of how I fell in love with them. But now that I'm hearing the deeper cuts, I'm not sure if Home by the Sea was a single, but now that I'm hearing, those kind of songs and all the other album songs that I'm going to explore from 80s Genesis, I'm so excited to hear all that, as I'm also excited to discover and explore the 70s Genesis. There's just so much nostalgia when I hear this type of Genesis with Phil singing, and just Phil's voice in general, so many great memories. I mean, I was performing Phil Collins songs, in 1990 at family concerts, and, we go way back. My love for him just goes way back, and it's just growing and growing the more I hear from them. And of course, my love for Peter Gabriel is growing and growing the more I hear from him in the Genesis era. I did a little research before this on the lyrics, and I know there's some debate online as to their meaning, a lot of speculations, a lot of interpretations, but apparently Phil Collins did say right before performing this in 1984 that it was about ghosts, the supernatural, and a haunted house. So who knows, but I will check out those lyrics. I'll be right back. Well, on first glance, it does kind of read literally as if it's a burglar breaking into this haunted house and becoming trapped there and tortured by these souls for eternity. Things like climbing through a window, stealing through the dark of night, creeping up, all these things kind of give this burglar feeling. He's not entering there properly. He's kind of creeping in not the right way. And again, this could all be metaphorical, but literally it kind of reads as what I just told you, talking about shadows but no substance in the shape of men. It seems like that's the ghost that he's encountering. Sideways they go. Again, makes sense that it would be a ghost. Let us out of here. Just so many clues. Dreaming of the time we were free many years ago. So these could be ghosts from, the ancient past, meaning like 100 years ago, 200, 300. It's hard to say. And then they demand him to sit down, this character in the story, and force him to hear the tales of their lives when they were living and how good things were back then. And, the fact that they're kind of stuck in this house and now tortured. They want to just share and relive those memories with somebody, just whoever showed up, basically, the unfortunate person that showed up. The interesting part is at the end, the ghosts say, you won't get away. You're going to stay with us for the rest of your days. And that proves that he's trapped, and it has a very Hotel California feel to it, You can never leave, I believe is the last line of that song. And same kind of vibe here. This might be a stretch, but I did get kind of imagery of this being hell, and these souls trapped in hell. Someone just arrived and now they're stuck there forever. And these souls are here to reminisce of better times on earth. And now they're here suffering. And, just one interpretation and proof that you can get different things out of a song. I was reading people's interpretations online. Some people thought it was about a nursing home. Some people thought it was about someone in jail, locked up for the rest of his life. So again, it's whatever you make of it. But assuming what Phil said, in 1984 during the concert is true about this being about the ghosts and supernatural, it makes sense, the first interpretation I gave. Who knows? Either way, an amazing 2 songs. You can tell I love them both for different reasons, and I love how even though the second one was so different, it did tie together at that last part where the lyrics came in. It tied the first and the second songs together. Just great, amazing, powerful music yet again. So I'm going to give both of these songs 5 golden records, of course. Genesis, Home by the Sea, and Second Home by the Sea, 1983. And one more thing here, I was looking at the full album track list, and it's really exciting to me. I mean, I'm sure every album is great and has a great collection of songs, but in this one, I Know Mama very well, love the intro. And then the second song is That's All, and that's one of the earliest songs I ever heard when it was new, and it's just always been one of my favorites. Got a great feeling to it, upbeat, uplifting, a little bit dark, but classic Phil, classic Genesis. And then we have these 2, Home by the Sea, Second Home by the Sea. Illegal Alien, I do not know, but Taking It All Too Hard is one of my favorite Genesis songs. It's got that mysterious kind of dark guitar section throughout the song, and I heard it a lot on the radio in the 2000s, 1990s, whenever it was played on the adult contemporary radio, and I don't assume it's a big hit because I don't hear people talking about it much when they talk about 80s Genesis, but it's one of my favorites just because of the sounds and the melodies and just everything, And then the last 3, Just a Job to Do, Silver Rainbow, and It's Gonna Get Better, I do not know. So since I know maybe almost half this album now, I know the other half is probably just as great, just as cohesive, and hopefully I can get into some of that. But they have several 80s albums, so it'll take me a while to get through everything, but I do want to, as well as getting through all their 70s material. So amazing. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Would love to hear some more 80s gems from Genesis that may be lesser known, not their biggest hits, but anything you love from that era, just let me know down in the comments. And if I haven't heard it, I can probably add it to my list and listen to it at some point on this channel. So excited to have Genesis as a weekly inclusion on this channel for a long time to come, because there's just so much to explore, and I'm so happy that I get to finally discover all their great music in 2023. As I say, better very late than never. So thanks again. You take care, stay safe. Remember to let peace, calm, and light into your day and night, and I will see you next time in the past.